Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Let the conversation begin. This is Let's Talk with your host, Carl Lee.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee, and this is Let's Talk. Today, I have an interesting group of folks in the room. If you saw my Facebook post, I possibly could be sitting in the room with perhaps the future most talented staff, from coaching to players, all in the same room, at one time. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I'm not even gonna say a name. I'm just gonna go from my left and let the people go to the right, and we will jump right into the show. So, sir.
When I introduce myself, I'm back. I was formerly a co-host, now I'm here as a guest, back as a guest. With Varian, Cunningham.
Coach?
Jon Carpenter.
Turan Rush.
All right, so I'm hearing different things about what's going on at Capitol, okay, which I will refer to as Cap, okay. So I've heard a lot of different things, but what I want to say, okay, and I could be wrong, and Coach, you probably will know better than anybody else. Okay, I don't know of a coaching staff, if the guys that you ultimately hire and they take the job, which hasn't happened at this point. Clarify that for some folks who are a little upset. You may have the most talented group of former athletes coaching kids than anybody maybe have assembled, to my knowledge. I know that there's been coaches who have hired former players, but I don't know if they are this quality of players that you are trying to get. Explain to me what the thought process was in rounding this group up, or trying to get this particular group of athletes, great athletes, statewide great athletes, playing in college ball, all under your tutelage and at Cap. Tell me what prompted all this. How did we get to this place?
I think I screwed up. I look around. You got all these great players. They don't even know where I'm on the bottom of the pole there. I was always that way at Capitol. You know what I mean? I used to tell them all the time. I said, I guess that's why I'm the head coach. I've got to get here early and open the door and close it, because everybody in there is like, it was intimidating. Be there, like Mark Mason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I know who this guy is. You know what I mean? I was scared to death when I first got there. You know what I mean? So you learn real quick not to take yourself too serious as a head coach here.
but well, go ahead.
All right. And Mark and I talked a couple weeks ago, and it's like, we need to add some people. You know what I mean? We don't have enough. I think you see Martinsburg play the other day. They have 17 coaches.
Yeah.
That's maybe too much but for us, yeah, we need people. And I know people are excited because they're like, these two guys are great players. Varian's not getting hired unless he can get the I sent you pictures. If you don't have the 6 inch on top, that's what I remember coming to Charleston. You got to have the 6 inches on top, or we can't sign that contract.
I've been coaching a few years now. I don't know if the hair gonna grow that high no more.
As you get older, it grows.
You know what we're talking about? Kid and play. You remember?
He the movie kid and play.
He used to have.
I'm old enough.
Yeah, he used to have it. You were like the only guy around though, right? Because I remember people, Meats Bank coming here like Gritorama and stuff, and like, man, we'd only seen that on MTV. It was that haircut was a big deal. That's what I told him.
I can remember when they used to wear cereal boxes at games. Coach, I don't know if I could bring that up. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that's happening, Big.
You won't be able to wear a headset.
But on the serious note, though, like everybody has been talking about, and everybody knows that this show I have been attacking like transfers and all of that. Right. And now what I think, okay, this is just and listeners, hear me when I say this. This is what I think. Okay? This is just my thoughts here. If I'm looking around in the valley and I'm that parent that's looking to jump around and take my kids somewhere where I think they can benefit from. And I start, okay, one, I'm going to think, okay, Coach Carpenter's back, and he's at Cap. Okay, so if that's not enough, which is, to me, I think that's a big deal. I think parents who remember Capital being that school, that's gonna trigger something. But then when you start talking about the players, the current and the level in which they played, I almost have to bring my kid to Capital because I need them to. I've played against Varian. I've coached against him. You know what I'm saying? As far as a parent, my kids, I know how he is. I know what I'm getting from him. I might need to go there. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, we have this stampede in the Capitol. What do we do? I mean, have you all? Let me ask this question. Turan, let me ask you this question. Because I don't know necessarily if you would have maybe put the thought process into who you are and what you actually can bring to Cap's staff. And the number of parents, the number of kids who know you, look up to you, respect you, and say, gosh, he's going to be on that staff. I might think we might need to go there. Two things. How does that make you feel? And what do you think is the benefit that you can bring with that? And I'm not. And again, let me make it clear. I'm not talking about guys going out to recruit people. I'm talking about parents and kids recruiting the coach. They want to get somewhere where there is a coach that they know and they've seen and they get what that player, how he was as a player, and they're going to accept all of the critiques and yelling and screaming that comes with that. They're going to take that because they know it's coming from somebody who matters. So tell me, how do you look at this, and how would you address people who are saying, well, all of a sudden now Cap shouldn't be getting these players, because that's what's going to happen. Tell me a little bit about
personally,
that.
I would have to say I'm very fortunate and lucky to be able to come back and coach for the team I played for in high school. When I'm approaching this, I'm just feeling like I'm a part of family again. Right. So it's not like I'm not coming in there thinking I'm getting anything from it. It's just bro, I get to be around my family 7 days a week. That's the fun part about it. As far as what can I bring to the table? Just love. I'm passionate about football. I played it at Division I level, so my knowledge is not all the way where it need to be, but I'm a learner, so I'm learning as well. So it's one of them things where it's a fresh beginning. We all can attack it at the same rate, and, so that's my mindset into it, and just getting the kids to buy in and things like that. That's the fun part of it.
Let me ask this question. Because I'm the oldest school guy in the room, okay? And I know that I've been critiqued, for the disciplinarian piece of it. How do you, I've been told you got to love on the kids and all that kind of stuff. And I think the love that I had for V was after You know, the yelling and screaming. So I'm curious to get I'm curious to get your style of coaching. Like who do you think? And when I say who do you think you are, I'm not saying you got to name a coach, but what do you think is going to be your method and your way of coaching kids? Doing something wrong, doing something right, all of that.
I don't know his name, but the head coach for the Raiders now, he just got hired.
Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, I love his philosophy. Like we're a family. Like guys in the NFL that you're not making the roster, or you still on the practice squad, you can't be on the sideline. He said my guys will be on the sideline. They practice with us every day. I'm that type of coach.
Okay.
You know, I want everybody to feel equal. You know, everybody get the same opportunity. Everybody get the same love. You know, that's the type of coach I am. Like, it's not no hierarchy. You know, I love being around the kids. I love coaching. Everybody gonna get coached up well. Everybody gonna get, you know, the attention they need to get better as a player on and off the field. So that's the type of coach I am. Like,
do you have a little bit of yelling and screaming in you? Do you, what you know, in the discipline?
I got passion in me.
Okay.
You know, yelling and screaming. It's how you. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. You know, I can get a kid to listen to me by just be like, and more of encouragement, approaching it with encouragement. You know, you got it, bro. Let's go. You know, we need you. Instead of like, bro, they don't respond to that well. So I always come with it as an encouragement first, and then everybody in and they run through a brick wall for you after that. That's the easy part.
Okay, and Coach, I'm gonna come to you last. All right, so V, you know, I can say that I have actually coached you, and I don't know necessarily if my coaching style necessarily transforms you. But I'm curious to say where are you in the coaching style? What are you trying to bring to the table?
As far as my style of coaching, like it's pretty much like what Turan was saying. You know, Coach, I'm very energetic. I love the kids, so I'm gonna bring a lot of passion, love, and discipline, Coach. You know, I'm big on discipline. I know Coach say he not Barry Bryant, but you know, but you know, the rules. You got to have rules when, you know what I mean, to run a program the correct way, and the players got to abide by those rules. So, you know, and it's not going backstep or anything, but the screaming and yelling, I don't scream and yell. You know me, Coach. I mean,
right.
I maybe do more screaming and yelling at the officials than I do at the kids. But no, yeah, the screaming and yelling, I guess you got to know your audience. I guess it goes back to know your audience.
Right.
You know who can take it and who can't take it. But it may be times for that. But you would never see me do anything like Sean Payton did to Russell Wilson. That's just not. I mean, you know what I mean.
We had a conversation about that earlier. We might touch that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I would never. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would correct. You know, we correct mistakes, but I think that is a little bit overboard, to be honest with you. But excuse me, go ahead, Coach.
Well, and you know, regardless of how I talk about myself as far as discipline and all those kind of things, you know, I was never a yeller or a screamer or cusser or anything. It was just simple. Like if you did the wrong thing.
I used to tell people, I wish y'all coached me harder, to be honest with you, Coach. You know what I mean? It was just like, you know, like you said, I don't know, maybe if I turned that ball off, like, V, what'd you see? You know what I mean? Just maybe because I've never really experienced that type of coaching, to be honest with you.
See, and part of that too, and Turan, probably the same thing with you, because of who you are and what you were. And I don't mean great, just that's the easy piece, right? Mm-hmm. But that you were going to put forth that effort anyway. So for you to make a mistake, I already know that you giving me your all. Mm-hmm. So if you made that mistake, you know, it was a straight up mistake that he couldn't help. You know, he wasn't trying to make that.
And to people, I can say that I do get some of my coaching style from you, to be honest with you. The structure, Coach. I mean, all that I learned in college, I mean, I carried that down. When I first started coaching midget league football with Turan, and when he was 7, it was strict from we had on time. We had a practice schedule. We're gonna do this for 5 minutes. We're gonna stretch for the first 10 minutes. We're gonna do that. Then we're gonna break up individual. So it was a structure even in midget league.
Right.
You know what I mean? Coach, we was watching film. I'm breaking down other teams' film in midget league. People mad talking about you cheating. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, a lot of that, I mean, a lot of my coaching style I got from you. Like I said, the structure, the discipline, and Coach Richardson, that was my guy. Coach Richardson, he was my guy. But the love side and the passion and his energy that he coached with, man, I take a little bit from
Coach Richardson was he was a guy who played with me at Marshall and coached with me at State. Great receiver, should be a Hall of Fame guy at Marshall, but was the funniest coach ever, man. He would crack a joke in the worst time just to get everybody back into laughing, But Coach Carp, so you've had a whole host of greatness as a coach, and who you are, what your name brings, and the credibility that comes with you. Who are we looking for as who is the new Coach Carp? Who is this Coach Carp now? Are you the same guy, or have you times have changed a little bit? Do you need to change a little bit? Talk to us a little bit about what you think.
I don't think I'll change. Obviously, not everything was perfect, but no, I don't believe so. I think.
But tell us a little bit about what it is. Who is Coach Carp? What is his coaching style?
I don't know. Ask him. He'd be better. He'd be better telling I would. I don't know.
I need you to speak on it. Just give us a little bit of something.
I when you get lucky and you win some of those games, they ask you to come speak at these clinics, and my wife and I were sitting there watching Kelly's Heroes. When they go in there and steal that gold. You remember Donald Sutherland's driving that tank, and he's got he's talking about, he's got this speaker, and he's talking all this crazy stuff. And my wife said, "That's like you, that's your leadership style." And I was like, "What?" And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm gonna tell these guys I'm like John Wayne, or it's my hero, or Clinton Giles, or Darth Vader. That's the three toughest guys I know. And then my wife says that, and I was like, "Holy cow!" No, I don't think I'll ever change. I don't, good or bad. I think it's, and I always just tell those guys that coach, it's like being in the Grateful Dead. It's a jam band. So I don't structure out a whole lot of things out. What we're going to get done is, like practice time. I remember I used to tell them, I said, no, I don't have anywhere to go. So we're going to start whenever y'all get here. You know what I mean? Now, that bus lets you off. We start at 4:30, but we're going to get 2 hours in, even if it takes us 4. You know what I mean? I said so, and I tell them, you screw up my practice. I don't like the games. I like to practice. If you screw up my practice, you can bet I'm going to screw up your games. And I always believed in giving them ownership of it. You know what I mean? I could convince them. I went around yelling and screaming. We just got to make them do push-ups for coming out late. And then one day I just went, you know what? I told them, I was like, you'll want to get this work done. I said, so whenever you get ready, whenever y'all get everybody out there, we'll start. And then they started, even Kayshawn Haley, who was the worst one to come out. Now he's thinking, well, I got a date at 7 o'clock. We got to get this stuff done. So those guys start taking ownership of it. And it was so much fun to see, these guys, take ownership of how it happens, what needs to go on. And I think I'll be more like that now. I think some of that stuff happened probably on accident.
One of the interesting components I know at the next level, and I know having the luxury of being under Bud Grant for 2 years, early my first year and my third year, one of the interesting things is kind of similar to what you're saying. Bud expected you to do all the right stuff. Mm-hmm. He didn't even have to be around practice. He'd go walk off to a deer feeder, making sure that it's full, and we're down there practicing. And then after practice is over, he might say it was a good practice, a bad practice, and you're like, well, how do you even know? You were up in the woods for a while, But his belief was, you as the player, at the end of the day, it's your win and loss. Yeah. Now he's going to get some blame and credit. But no player wants to lose. No player doesn't want to be not ready.
Right.
And so when you take and say, okay, well, I've got to make myself practice. And I got to make myself practice hard. And then I look over and I see V's not working hard. All of a sudden, come on, V. Come on, man. Yeah. Let's do this. When you get that, I think you've got a football team.
Right.
I'm tickled to death. About an hour ago, he's up there, and I'm like the old guy now, so weight room's going, and he's got those kids in there, and he's putting them in situations where they'll stressful, you know what I mean, and he's teaching them to pull each other along, quit the arguing, and all that kind of stuff. And he's doing it he's laughing, you know what I mean, and he's having fun with them, and it was really cool to see, you know. And like I was telling you, you know, kids want to be part of something like that. And let me finish you got me off track about my Grateful Dead story. But it's a jam band, you know what I mean? Like everybody, all these guys bring something, you know what I mean? Like everybody's, you know, great at some part of practice, some part of the process of going on, you know. And I don't have to I'm not Mick Jagger. I don't have to sing every song. I don't have to do all that, you know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not scripted, like a Grateful Dead concert. You know, they just look at each other and go, bang the shit out of them drums.
You're all right.
Bang them drums for a little bit. You know, hit your guitar. Whenever you're hot, you know what I mean? You're hot. You know what I mean? And like practices are structured, but everybody gets a chance. That's why I was so proud. You know, I had the same guys with me the whole time I was there. And that's pretty unheard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't because they were paid a lot or anything like that, but you know, but I let everybody coach. And I think that's the best way for it to work. You know, I mean, I don't think I think everybody has to do what they do and play a part in putting it all together.
That's a great point, Coach, because I'm a firm believer in a coach is only as good as his help.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, to be honest with you, because I mean, if he don't have good help around him, then you know what I mean. Then all the onus is going to fall on him. But
because I mean, and to your point, the head coach is going to get all the blame and all the credit.
Right.
Okay. But in the blame, the one thing that the head coach will always know is what is the weakest piece. And for my last coaching stint at the high school, you know, it was difficult for me if, you know, and I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just making a case. If you don't have a staff bought in,
right.
If it's just one guy who's on the negative side, you can't function. You can't put it together. It's not going to grow.
Well, that's like a cancer, Coach.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like you said, I mean, it's not going to fix anything. It's more or less spread.
Right.
Because now he's going to try to get because now the staff is going to be split pretty much because he's going to have people thinking his philosophy and it's going to be away from, you know what I mean, your philosophy. Yeah. So it's just, you know, you can't have that on the staff if you.
And see, and I feel like I can feel the love between you guys already. That is, it's going to be very difficult for kids not to want to gravitate toward this.
And to be honest with you, we're not in this for credit or clout or anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? We want this for these kids in this community, Coach. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like, let's form Voltron or what's the Power Ranger? What's the Power Ranger? The Megazord. You know what I'm saying?
You still play with
let's form that Megazord. You know what I'm saying?
We still got them underwear on.
No, but in all seriousness, I told the kids, not kids, these young men, but I told a young man the other day, I was telling them a story. We lined up to get ready to go to Wheeling for the championship. Coach V said community, that's why I'm talking about this. But I do this because it's bigger than me. You know, I don't want no credit from this.
Right.
Like, coaching is overrated. I really care about helping these kids get to the next level in their life. That's why I do it personally. But I told the kid, I said, we was lined up getting ready to head out. We had the police escort going into Wheeling. It was people out there for the send-up that don't even have a roof to lay, like a roof to go home to at night.
Right.
Or running water or a guaranteed meal, but they was at the send-off. And that's how, that day I knew, like, when I lined up and put my pads on, it's not even about me. Like, people really, like, are as hungry for their happiness because of us, of the blue and gray when they come and see us on Friday at Lately Field. Like, it was amazing to see people out there that was homeless to send us off to Wheeling to win a state championship. And that's why I knew I would never complain, but it's not even about me. These homeless people just wanted to see us just play football and get some excitement in their life. And that's why I try to instill in the kids, like, bro, it's really not about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you get some type of enjoyment from it because you work hard, but you plan for Charleston and Capitol High, you plan for your whole community, literally. Like, people come out to see Capitol High, they really love Capitol High School. Like, it's not about nothing but love and community. And
the challenges that you all have had to go through, they're in that support as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and Coach, the last time you were on, we talked about some of those issues that were happening prior to in your first stint of coaching. What is your battles? And I'm outside of the game, practice, all of that, but practice, where you're practicing, or do you have these kind of things already worked out, or do you still, or is there still an issue going forward?
No, I mean, yeah, they've no, that's good.
So everything is for the most part, you've got everything that you want or need.
Everything I've complained about that got me run off in the first place, yeah, it's fixed. I mean, I think I was telling Turan, Larry Bailey, when he first came, I told him, I was like going along with he said, when Larry Bailey was there the second time, Mr. Bailey was there the second time we won the state championship game, and I told him when he came, I said, look, man, this is not like any place around. And I was like, because you got homeless people, you got millionaires, you got everything in this community. And I said, when this place believes, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? I said, it's so unique. And they put together, you remember when we went that second time, they put a video together of all these people in the community. Mm-hmm. And I remember we get on the bus to go, and Mr. Bailey goes, he says, I was like last person to get on, he goes, he gets all choked up, and he goes, you told me that this is a really unique place. He said, and you told me that these guys love each other, and you told me, and he said, and he like teared up, and he choked up, and he said, I can't believe this, and then we have a conversation with him a couple weeks ago, and that's what he said. He goes, he said, I just want it to be that way again, and
if you've touched that, if you've seen a glimpse of that, you gotta want it.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How could you? No, there's no better feeling than that. Well, let's just take a quick break here, and we'll be
Contact
right back.
Carl Lee on email. Let's talk carllee@gmail.com or text 409-422-7539.
You're listening to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Sponsorship opportunities are available. Email letstalk@promessage.com or call 304-342-8131. For more information, visit WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk. Now, back to the conversation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Lee, and my cast here today is a future hired staff for Capitol High. Now, I'm going to say this has no reference to my guest at all. I didn't go to Cap. I'm a South Charleston fan, but I'm gonna say this just because I kind of know a little bit about it. Why are we hating? Why would anybody want to hate? You got a staff. I mean, I know Varian Cunningham, and there can't be anything that would keep him from coaching. Okay, I know that he coached through youth sports. Now, are you scared of the relationships that he's going to build?
Well, it may be the relationship that we already have, because that
may be it.
And that may be what's causing the problem, because they know that we've been in the youth league for so long. So a lot of these kids that's in high school now are coming down.
That's what they fear. Coach Carp told me that I might have been 14, 15 years old, but he said when y'all start believing in yourself and having pride within yourself in the community, they fear that. So they would do anything and build any system to break that up, because they know when we fight against each other, when the family feud, nobody wins when the family feud. You know what I'm saying? So when we have some type of pride against ourselves, when we low league, we building pride. The middle school, Horseman and West Side, we building pride, and they come in the Cap. That's like a bomb coming, and they know that we gonna send these kids to college. We gonna change the community. They fear that. That's what they not worrying about how much touchdowns we gonna score. Yeah, we gonna score a lot, but they fear when we come together. That's dangerous. That's dangerous to them. I don't understand why it's dangerous, but Coach Carp told me that, and I understand that now. And I think it would be more of a fear instead of hate. They fear when we come together and we come to one. That scares them.
I I don't, and I probably shouldn't say this, but that wouldn't be me.
Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk. And let's talk straight. Okay, I am a diehard South Charleston High School fan. Okay, and I want South Charleston to do its absolute best, no matter what. And if they lose and they play as bad as they play, I'm still a South Charleston fan. Right. But I called you guys. I was texting you guys to get on the show because I know what the potential is based on the individuals. I'm trying to figure out why anybody would call for any other reason. Like, why you... It's simple. You become really simple when you start talking about, I think this guy's this, I think this guy's this, you can't get this guy on your staff, you can't... Why are you worried about somebody's staff? Coach a team. Coach a team. And let the... Because we ain't had no problems when everybody's been grabbing kids and being happy. Okay?
I called him the other day and I said, if the devil ain't messing with you, you're not doing any good. And I told him, I said, you're gonna get attacked now. And I said, by some people that you think love you. And I said, but that's a good thing. I said, that's a blessing.
I think your fight won't be, I don't think your fight's done until you actually get, once everybody gets hired and everybody gets to know who the names are, I think that's where the fight's gonna be. And it's interesting to me because my question again is, what are you hating on? Here's a white dude. Here's a white dude who is getting ready to surround himself with some of the best athletes in and around Charleston ever. And the fear to that is that there's a little black kid running around.
Kids coming, Coach.
They may want to come.
They may want to come.
But and that's what's the best thing about it is my wife keeps me abreast of what's going on Facebook. And people aren't excited about, like these two guys, they're not excited about them because they used to score touchdowns beside the quarterback. They both, I think it's been said here, there's a 4-letter word that was said in here, that's what people are scared of because these guys love kids. You know what I mean? They love that community. Yes. Oh, wow. You know what I mean?
And they've been in that community. Yeah. They've been in the CAP community.
Yeah.
And if you got a CAP kid now, you might want to put lock on him. You might want to put a lock and key on him because there's a great chance he might go home. And you might want to watch your own kids. Because I'm just saying.
I would be shocked about that. I told, we were talking last time we were here, me and Hollis was. If you remember, he kept talking about dogs or something like that. And I remember, I think you're off, but you're not going to get a whole lot of kids transfer from any place else to Capital.
I don't buy it.
Well, I bet my paycheck on it. We never but I think most parents, like, what you're going to get at Capital. I had a few people call last time I was there, and they would want to be promised something. They're not coming without being promised a playing time or. I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll give you that.
And so let me rephrase it for the people who are listening. If you decide that you're going to go to CAP, you're going to have to be able to play.
You got to play.
And look, for all the people who have told you how good your kid is, he or she will get a fair chance at CAP. Okay? I know too many people that's going to be in this circle, okay? And I know their history of what they do, how they do it, how they want to do it. They're going to... But I make the case that a lot of people are just happy to be on a good team. And if I'm not playing, I'm
you
okay.
Need them. And so you need them,
some
Coach.
Of them.
You need, you know what I mean?
But if I'm trying to figure out if my kid's good, it ain't going to take me long of where I probably need to send them.
And again, it's about the ultimate goal, though, too, Coach. What is the ultimate? What is this kid's ultimate goal? So at some point in your life, you're going to have to compete, whether it's in sports or whether it's in job. Yeah. I mean, interview, just like we go in interview, it's another person that's coming in on that same interview. So we competing for that job, too. So
can we make the case, though, that promise to play that gets you to transfer. We've seen that happen in Hurricane at the quarterback position, and it don't always play out. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody may get hurt, and then get in and play well. You see that all the time. Especially, we've seen this in the pros.
Right.
Guy gets hurt, the guy comes in, all of a sudden he's better than the guy before. And you're like, well, how did that happen? Because that first chance that you get, and you go out there and you play. But my question, though, really is, I want, if my kid is just okay, I may want him to be in somebody else's hands, because that you may be able to bring something out that no one else has been able to bring out.
Amen.
And I think that's part of what I see in the names of some of the future coaches that you're talking about hiring. I think that's if I'm the parent, see, the kid might not understand it, but the parent is going to know that. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in that?
No, you're right. And the thing is about the great thing that you can get about coming to Capital High School, not even just on the football tip, but it's at the high school in general, bro. You got to compete, but it only makes you better. Like literally, compete is literally the word. Like every day you got to go to war. It's not, but that breeds you into becoming the best version of you. Like you don't, if you're in an environment where you don't got to work, where you're the best, and the person that's leading you is not forcing, but is not putting you in a position to where you got to compete with your teammates, compete, you're not going to get better. And then when you got to really compete and go to war, you usually give up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's the thing. Like you see all these power teams, whatever, everybody transferring. And when it was time to really compete, and when you got to put your nose in the dirt, a lot of you know what I'm saying, a lot of things. I'm talking about this is all around the world in general. Okay. This in NFL, this in middle school, high school, but I'm just letting people know if you don't expect your kid to compete, and then when they really got to compete, it shows. Like every day you got to compete 7 days a week. Like
I told Hollis, I said, I remember Turan told him that time, but I said, you know, everybody thinks their kid's a dog, right? He kept saying that word today, and I said, well, if you had one of those white poodles, you know, with the pink toenails and all, and he jumped the fence, where would you go look for him? In the yard with the picket fence, the rose bush, that kind of stuff. If you had a pit bull, you'd go look in the junkyard if he got loose. Well, Capitol's a junkyard. Capitol's someplace where it's pretty hard. You know what I mean? You got to compete, and be real about it. Not a lot of people want that for their kid. You know,
and
I
think they miss it, and I think that's part of what which again is, you know, when you're playing a game, let's say you're playing a playoff game, and the game's hot, right? Like the game is getting hot, and you're not ahead, you're losing, and you got these guys that are, you know, just transfers, you know, they've been out for themselves, you know, because transfer is somewhat about a singular thing. It's about me. You know, it's like I want to go where I think I can get the best, or who can promise me the best, right? So all of a sudden, we're out there and all four of us is playing. Coach misses a tackle. How he missed that tackle? Turan missed, he missed a shot. You throw an interception. Because I've done everything right, but what? Make a play. Okay? And you guys are out there trying to make a play, and you mess it up because that's how it works. And I'm mad at y'all. So now, mom, dad sitting in the bleachers, or let's just call it a dad. Okay? Let's make it singular. Let's make it a dad. Dad looking at it, and he blaming everything on the coach. And he's thinking like, we can't be here. You know, this is the coach's fault. Mm-hmm. What? I mean, I think the whole structure of how we expect, you know, to compete is giving your all, and that doesn't mean it's going to work out. You can right. Win or lose. But if you are a competitor, you ain't stopping until the last second is on the clock.
Right.
I mean, I'll hit you. You know, I look up there and see there's 3 more seconds, and you run down the sideline. I'm hitting you. You know, and I'm thinking like, I don't care.
Right.
Coach, so why'd you hit him? Clock didn't go off.
What you say, Coach Carp? What makes you a war daddy?
It don't mean you win every fight. It means you fight every fight.
Yeah.
And to me,
You need to get that tattooed on you.
I think that's part of what the parents don't understand. Like you gotta compete no matter what, and you gotta be. And I'm not gonna compete. Like and B, you can contest to this. Like we don't win a game at state, and we didn't win a bunch of them. But it wasn't ever going to be about somebody lost the game. It was never going to be like V threw this interception. We ain't having that. That's not the conversation. We lost this as a coaching staff and as a team. Because that's the only way you can win or lose a game. Right. Because if your kid is on defense and the offense don't score, well, you can create a tie. You know what I'm saying? You can make it a tie.
Right.
You know, so everybody has to play. Everybody plays a role. Kicker, the kickoff team, the kickoff return team, punt team, field goal team, snapper, all those, everybody has to play that role. It is never going to be about a single player. But when you start to think that everybody's making mistakes except you,
right.
You're the wrong dad and you're the wrong kid.
And you're in the wrong sport, I think.
And you're in the wrong sport. You need to play tennis or run track or something like that.
Right, you need to be in the individual sport.
That's what I tell them. But that's what makes football the best sport, in my opinion, because it parallels life. You know, I mean, things are going. Life is freaking hard.
Do you think, to your point, that?
Yeah.
But I don't know if we really have been effectively trying to put life and football together like we used to. Like I don't know if we coach it that way anymore. Like we kind of keep it as this singular kind of a thing. It's just football and it's just about the game and all that. No, this is how you act in football is who you are as a person.
Right.
Yeah, everybody want to be pimped out. That's just like if you was a husband, bro. Like when stuff get hard in your household, what you gonna do? Go find a new wife and leave your kids? That's how it is. I'm with this transfer portal stuff. Like, my kid ain't getting no touches. I'm gonna go sleep with the next woman. This woman, she ain't text me back. I'm gonna sleep with the next woman. You ain't gonna never be happy, bro. Like if you searching for the perfect lady or the perfect situation or the perfect opportunity, sometimes you got to be like, well, my woman do have this type of work ethic and these resources. How can I help her better? How can I help her become a better lady? Like people don't look at it like that.
Right.
Like if Coach Carp needed me to go play punter, bro, and I ain't had no foot, I'm gonna kick with my knee. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the mindset that I think that's like leaving football, because it's like people always searching for the perfect opportunity for their kid, and that's impossible. Like life is not like that.
It was easy.
It's just not.
It was easy for me to coach at State with no money because I played at Marshall when we didn't have the ability to draw great talent to Marshall. But once I started playing, there was no way I could find a reason to go somewhere else. We had guys, no matter how hard our practices were, and they were, man, I'm telling you, Marshall football in my days, in my 4 years under Sonny Randall, was probably the hardest football I have ever experienced in my life. From running 5 in the morning. You late for something, you missed something, you up 5 in the morning.
I know all about that.
Which I brought that to State. Because it kept you from doing something. You know, anything that was wrong, if you do something, you're late, you miss a class, you got to run.
And you're going to hold your others accountable, because it wasn't just an isolated event, though. The team had to run. So Turan, if you came in late, or if we get practice and I come in late and I miss a meeting or something like, everybody up at 6 o'clock at next Tuesday.
How many times you gonna do that?
You know what I'm saying? Or right?
We'll start fighting, bro.
Yeah, bro. We gotta hold each other accountable now. So now, dog, you can't be doing. You know what I mean? So and that's how it was. So and that's, if you look at it now, we became a family though, Coach, back then because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was some turmoil. It became trouble because, like, man, we can't keep getting up at 5:30 in the morning, man.
And checking classes. And we checking classes all day. So you ain't going back to the dorm, go to sleep, or go back home and go to sleep. I'm expecting you to be in that 8 o'clock class.
Right. And so if we like it, now we might fight then, but if we out in the street, we go to the club or something and see somebody, bro,
it's love. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think that's the environment.
That's the family part.
That's the environments that you want to be in. Like, right, it's just talking to the parents now. Like, if the parents that's listening to this, I don't think it will be no other environment you don't want your kid to be in but this. Like, it's the best thing for you. I learned so much life lessons of being in one of the toughest environments in the state of West Virginia when it comes to football at Capitol High School. That I'm super prepared for life. I'm 25. I didn't already experience this because of football at Cap. It taught me so much things, bro. Just being with hard-nosed people, being with leaders that been through the hard-nosed stuff, that understand, nah, we ain't breaking, bro. We gonna Band-Aid up and we keep walking. Like, this the environment that these coaches have put me in, and that's the environment that as the coaches we are
and
today.
Coaches, yeah, it's coming from a guy, man. He could have turned left. You know what I mean? That he's been through so much that people really don't even know about, to be honest with you. And he could have been one of them kids that could have definitely turned left instead of turning right. So he's one of the success stories that I was so happy I got to even coach him at an early age, Coach, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So his story alone, you know what I mean, should entice these kids or these parents to understand the love and the drive that he has.
Well, and I think, and to be perfectly honest with you, because like I don't know all the story, and I'm not saying I need to know, but I think, because people have said to me like this story, that story needs to be told, right? You know, but sometimes there's a place where you have to tell that story, because it's going to be not just beneficial for a few, but a mass. Because when you tell that story's being told over and over and over. His respect for you is because of that story. His respect for you is potentially because of that story. And I just think where we can be really beneficial, and again, with your success, and I think there are 3 very successful men on this podcast right now. Those hard moments, you guys got to tell. You got to tell those stories. Because it's easy for me to say, oh, he's just saying that because he was good. But everybody don't know those hard times, those struggles. Because everybody has a struggle.
Right.
You know, when I tell people I got cut, I got cut twice. Basically, I got cut twice in the league before year 4. But now nobody's even thought about that because there's some Pro Bowls and all this kind of stuff that's after that. But the best part of it was when you tell me that I'm not better than that dude and you give me a chance to come back, oh, that dude's done. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting that job. Because if I didn't work hard enough the first time to prove that I was better than him, oh, I'm getting him now. And it's no question about it. These type of stories, those type of stories that you guys have, all 3 of you, are stories that need to get out because it's going to be helpful, because you may or may not know that there's a kid out there that's like you, that's on that same path, that needs to hear, and he got there. He got D1. He's this guy. He's that guy. You know, I mean, because I can make the case, V, 99% of all the kids that you probably have touched probably don't know all the stuff you've been through. You know what I'm saying? But what if 5% of them knew? I'm going to make a case that 100% of those 5, whole life's going to change. Pointing at you, Turan.
Last week, I hope he knows why I did it, because I told him a couple weeks ago, I said, you don't understand what kind of impact you're going to have. I said, just come to school with me one day and see how these kids gravitate towards you. And told him, they don't even know where Eastern Michigan is. You know what I mean? They don't care about that.
They don't care about none of that.
But we go on our recruiting trip. You know, we go to West Side, we go to Horseman, and we meet the kids at Capitol. So we were around 80-some kids 2 weeks ago. And I introduced him, and I said to D one thing, and I always look at the crowd, and when I said D1, his eyes sparkled. Yeah, he talking about me. His eyes sparkled. But when I said, I think I told the story here. I said, but you know how many? Now this guy's a freaking war daddy. You know what I mean? He is just tough as woodpecker lips. He's good. I said, but do you know how many games he started as a freshman? And then they all look. And I said 0. His eyes didn't sparkle when I said that. But I said, you know how many games he started as a sophomore? 1. And they're all interested in. And then they all look at him like, oh man, now that guy's, that's what I want to be. Nothing. I told him his dad had an opportunity to take him to the promised land. His dad had an opportunity to go take that easy way. Thank God his dad had the courage to leave him in there and let him fight. And them kids see that in him and they're like, well, that's the guy that can get me where I want to go.
I sit as a freshman too.
Yeah.
In my 10th grade year, I sit as a freshman too. I sit behind Steve Miller, and you know what? And I knew I couldn't play in front of him. Like, I knew. But once he was gone, what I did for me was totally different. I mean, I was already working, but I was 155 pounds. Steve was probably 170 or 80. Ain't no way I'm going to play free safety in front of him.
Coach, that's tough. Like you said, that's a program. It's like, I know some of these young kids feel like they come in ready. Some may be. Some may be, but
you don't have you get your Robert Alexanders and those kind of guys come in 10th grade, they ready to play right now.
And like I said, I played in 10th grade, but I was lucky. I think I told you this because Chris Henry got into some trouble and didn't get to play his senior year. But this is a guy that was getting recruited by the top teams in the country. Not just here in West Virginia. We talk about Nebraska, the Oklahomas was recruiting this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I looked up, or I probably would have been sitting as a freshman or sophomore as well. So, you know what I mean? So I certainly get it. Any programs, like you said, it's not going to be too many that I think we had maybe 7 that even dressed varsity. We had a travel team, and I think it was only 7 that went on the road as far as 10th graders.
Yeah, I think we had 3. I think we had 3 that went. It was me and a couple of other guys who went and played. We didn't play. We sit varsity and the varsity games. Like, we not special teams, no nothing. Like, we just sit there.
It was a big thing, Coach. I got to see if I'm on this list. You know what I'm saying? I make sure I'm on this
travel
list.
Yeah,
they see if I'm on this travel list.
And that was brutal. Because you had to run to as soon as you got finished practicing and the coach they write the list of who's traveling, you go up and see if your name was on there. And you go to the bottom because you know you ain't at the top. You go to the bottom and you look, you say, Carl Lee. Yes. Knowing I ain't playing a dime.
But I'm on that bus.
Yeah. And think about that. Kid be happy just to be on the bus. Where is there something wrong with that?
I don't see
there can't be nothing wrong with that.
Mark Mason Mark used to get after me all the time about that. Because I'd cry. If I had to if one of them kids had been to practice every day, now in my book, they're going. You know what I mean? Now, the first year we go out, remember, you weren't there. Your freshman year we go to Martinsburg?
Martinsburg, yeah.
You remember? Mr. Giles said, no, we ain't taking on them cats. And I said, Mr. Giles, them cats been to every practice. You know what I mean? They've been every day. You know what I mean? I said, no, they're going. I ain't leaving them here on the streets. They ain't got nowhere to eat tonight. Maybe. I don't know. But you know what I mean? I appreciate stories like that. Right. You know what I mean? But I'm like, man, if I knew those kids were taken care of, but I ain't staying awake. We took everybody, and
the interesting thing about
they had to put 6 in a room, but they were staying.
V, did the coach tell you, or did they give you a list? Like, did they well, you didn't. You did. So did they put a list on the wall, or did they tell you that you weren't traveling?
You would know by the end of the week. So like at Eastern Michigan, like you had guys that play scout team and things like that. So we would have a guy that went the one scout team player of the week. And it depends on where we was playing at. Usually if it was like drivable, it was able to travel, but we had to get on the plane, they wouldn't travel. But instead of traveling, they would give them like a gift card or some gear, just like some newer gear and stuff like that. But ultimately, like, Coach Crayon wanted everybody to travel, but just for NCAA rules, everybody can't travel. But he made sure they didn't feel left out, as far as you know.
But in high school,
Oh yeah, we all went. No, when I was there.
Oh no, that's what I mean.
Okay,
I took
that list, coach. That list was up Thursday, so that Thursday practice. So when you walk into that Thursday practice,
you ain't go.
Back when I was in there, like even everybody went, and then all the guys that play varsity was at the JV games. Like, it wasn't attached. Like we was there running the chains, we was there with the crowd. Like that's the family we are. It wasn't like nobody like, oh, we gotta go to the JV in the day. Nah, we finna go be the loudest on the sideline, so the younger players can get invested into and feel confident. That's what we did.
We're gonna go lift real quick. Get our lift. We gonna stay and watch the game.
Yeah,
I hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to wrap it up. I'm gonna close on first congratulating Coach Carp as the head coach, the new head coach of Capital, but a former head coach of Capital.
We coming.
And I'll say this: stop calling because they're coming.
Stop texting.
Yeah, stop texting.
Stop snitching.
They'll be coming.
We here.
And I know that's a Dion thing. But there is no staff yet. I'm saying that there is no staff yet. Unfortunately, Coach Carp has no idea who he's going to hire. Don't worry about who he's going to hire. Just play. And if for some odd reason they get a few transfers, a bunch of transfers, that'll be simply because they got a coaching staff full of players, athletes that they're going to recognize and know. If you want to compete with that, you need to be a player. We're out.
The opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of WVRC Media, its management, employees, or sponsors. Contact Carl Lee on email, letstalkcarllee@gmail.com, or text 409-422-7539.